What is up, and welcome back to another episode of the Girl Gains podcast. I'm Amber P.
I'm Alexis Nicole.
And today, y'all, we're going to do one of my favorite things, which is a Q&A. So we're going to be asking some of your questions, answering some of your questions. But first, Alexis, how you doing? How you feeling? What's going on?
I'm good. We are, I don't know that we announced it last time. I don't think we did. So I'm doing hang on, let me tell you that I've been calling it the wrong name. It's a show in Portugal. It's got kind of a long name. Mr. Big Evolution Pro.
Oh yeah, I would have butchered that.
I knew it was Big Evolution, but I knew I was missing something.
So this whole time I thought it was Portugal Pro.
Well, yeah, that's what I called it, and the promoter corrected me.
My bad. Silly me.
Yeah, it is a show in Portugal. The date is July 6th, so it's on a Sunday.
Are all European shows, they seem to be like that, where they're
Really,
on.
most overseas shows, the U.S. is really the only pros that do Saturday.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of the others, like, they're pro qualifiers. So the pro qualifier is Saturday, and then you can do your pro debut Sunday.
That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. So we are like 5 weeks and 6 days out from that. Like 5 weeks out from leaving, because we'll spend peak week over there. Right. Yeah, so that's the show that Boss moved us up to and really cranked things starting in Pittsburgh after the Pittsburgh Pro. So body fatigue is setting in. I'm sore and achy when I wake up in the mornings. Still not training quads, so just glutes and hams, which is going well. I've had a lot more better connection in my glutes, so they've been way more sore. Having to prioritize recovery a little bit because soreness is lasting longer. But overall, doing well. Like the physique is moving, which is good. And I've started playing with routine ideas.
Sorry.
It's
That
okay.
I was like, big goals.
Oh,
And that's exciting.
and I pulled out the big jug because this is a hydro jug. It's glass. I like it, and it has like a straw, so you just
I want a glass hydro jug. I
yeah,
love
I
that
really like it.
concept.
You just have to be careful because the first one I had, I dropped it and it shattered. So you can't drop it.
Yeah.
But I've not been drinking as much water as I thought I was.
Girl, you sweating over there in Texas. You better hydrate.
I know. And I was like, I can't stay hydrated. Well, when I started actually measuring my water, like I've been struggling getting through one of these bottles.
Um,
And that's only a half gallon. So I've been
Something that I started doing probably 2 months or so ago is because I always struggle with staying hydrated because I'm a sweater. I sweat a lot in general. And so something that helped me was making sure that I was 100% hydrated before I even started training. Because when I would start my training, I was already dehydrated and I would just feel like trash. So making sure that I'm like hydrated before, that helped a lot.
yeah. I definitely try to be conscious to get enough water in before training, but I need to really be drinking more than I used to because it's so hot here.
So hot.
When I
Overcompensate
train,
for
I'm
it.
like drenching my clothes, and that's not normal for me. But it's a warehouse gym, so
Yeah, see, I'm not hardcore like that. Almost had a heart attack last week because at my gym in the back, like, because there's different areas. There's like the powerlifting area, and I walked in, I was like, whoa, why is it so hot? And they had all the garage doors up, and I was like, is this what it's going to be like all summer long? I was like, oh God, it was so hot.
yeah, so it's like, oh my gosh,
Well, yeah, and then y'all are like extra, extra hot. So it's, yeah, it's definitely an adjustment.
yeah, I'd say like especially at this point in the year compared to Florida last year, it's hotter here and it's more humid. So it's like hotter and stickier. So The back door we tend to leave open for the dogs because if the door is closed, Callie immediately wants to come in. But if the door is open, she'll run around and play. But we have to like just crack it now because it's so hot. And then as soon as they come in, I'm like, we're not doing in and out.
It's too muggy. When I woke up this morning, Lo was on the sleep. I can't speak today. Words, brain, prep. He was on the sofa sleeping because he had been up since 5 o'clock, and I guess he just went back to sleep. And he left the door open for the boys. Well, it was humid in there. I
Mm.
was like, but anywho, alrighty, let's jump into our questions here. Thoughts on waist training? I literally had this conversation with someone in the gym a couple of weeks ago. I feel this way about a lot of things in bodybuilding. Everything ain't for everybody. If it works for you, cool. If it doesn't work for you, cool. I think the tricky thing is, and this is why I don't necessarily use them, is because, like, for me, like, my structure is my structure. My ribs are my ribs. So, therefore, I just more so focus on tweaking my posing, making sure, like, I'm not flaring out my ribs to make my waistline look bigger. That has been more beneficial for me because that's what it is. It's just my structure and my rib cage and posing, and not necessarily, oh, like, yeah, I could put a waist trainer on, but if I'm still flaring out and doing the same thing in my poses, it's not going to make much of a difference. So I mean, to
Yeah,
each
I
your
think
own.
it's useful literally for training. It just reminds you to keep your waist tight.
Mm-hmm.
And like it can help atrophy your obliques if your obliques are ginormous.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not going to shrink your waist.
Yeah.
So like it's not magic. You don't and please don't buy one that's 2 times too small and
Jesus.
be buckling it to where it's like folding in the middle. That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. That's just not beneficial for you.
Like if
Any.
you're moving from a small to a double XS in 2 weeks, no ma'am. No, you didn't. You're just pulling it tighter.
Yeah. Like you still need to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
I don't want you passing out while you're training.
Brand to brand doesn't matter. I have several different brands.
Yeah.
They all are cut a little bit differently, so get the one that's the most comfortable reasonably. Like they're
Yeah.
not comfortable to wear. It's like wearing a corset, but um they all hit a little bit differently depending on how tall you are and the length of it and all of that. So just get one that you can wear and wear it. Um I think a majority of people wear it towards the end of their prep. I've tried to wear them in the off season, and personally, it just makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed. At what point should your weight stop increasing when reversing post show?
it's different for everyone.
Yeah, it's
I would say like hormones and stuff probably are the most level at like 6 to 8 weeks post show. It's not a fast process. Hi,
mm-mm.
Bonnie. Bonnie wants to say hi.
Bonnie girl.
Are you bored? She keeps jumping on my leg. Come here. She's too big to be doing
I
this
was gonna
now.
say she's gonna be too big for that soon. The girl who gets all her sleeps.
So I get my naps and then I have zoomies. I've
Yep.
been chewing stuff the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
I chewed my dad's CPAP last night,
Ooh, we need that.
and
Wait a minute.
luckily he had another piece to it.
Mm.
And I took my mom's shoe up onto the couch this morning to just because I thought it was mine. Yeah, you did that.
Just it's just puppy things.
My teeth are coming in.
No. Sleep girl.
She loves looking at herself in the mirror too.
Yeah,
You
listen,
see
yes.
yourself in the mirror?
See, I learned it from my dad. He looks at himself in the mirror.
He said, I learned it from my dad.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie girl, if I was as cute as you, I'd be looking at myself too. I understand. I
And
totally get
Callie's
it.
at the desk looking at me like I've murdered
She's
somebody.
mad.
Huh, you love being cuddled.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be different for everyone, and that's the thing. I think sometimes it's like, yes, I love that we're at a place where we have information now, but I think on the back end of that, it gets tricky because some people, if you're new, of course, you don't know what you don't know, but just because it took someone else X amount of time, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same for you.
Yeah, and everyone responds differently. Like, um, A lot of people who are successful in bikini have like the quote ectomorphic body type response.
Mhm.
Um, and oftentimes those girls tend to drop after a show. Like once you start feeding them, their metabolism is going psychotic and the weight will just start dropping. So it'll go down before it goes up and you have to just try to catch up with it. Once the
That's
ball's
me. I
rolling
hate
downhill.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "You're so lucky." I'm like, "No, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's
And
frustrating."
everyone's like homeostasis for what's normal for them is different. So I just
Mhm.
had this conversation with someone else recently. Um, because someone was debating with them that you shouldn't gain more than 10 pounds. I'm like, that you can't put a number on every single person. Like, there's no generic number. Sure,
No.
maybe like a very amateur level bikini competitor, 10 pounds is probably appropriate because
Right.
oftentimes you don't have enough muscle to truly get stage lean anyway. So your numbers don't need to go up crazy. But I would say the more muscle you have,
10 pounds
there's
ain't nothing.
there's
Ain't
more
nothing.
body fat that's necessary to keep and grow more muscle. Um, and then everyone's different. So like if I stay 10 pounds above my stage weight, I'm still gonna feel kind of crappy. Like my hormones aren't gonna get all of
Mhm.
what I need. Um, I probably feel the best about 20 pounds up.
Mhm.
Um, 20 to 25. If I'm pushing 30, then I'm a husky, but I'm also short.
Right.
So
Right.
20 pounds on someone Amber's height is gonna look and feel way different than someone than like my body type.
For sure. I feel solid. Like once I hit 17 pounds up, that's when I feel good. It's like I feel good. I'm mentally sharper. I like how I look. But anything under that, I've learned for me, it's just not enough. It's just 10 pounds. That's still lean. I'm still cranky. I'm still feeling all the stuff. Like, mm-mm.
Yeah, and this kind of flows into one of the other questions that's on there, like how lean should you stay post show, and like you just need to get back to homeostasis. If you're
Yeah,
staying 12 pounds above stage weight and your hormones aren't level, you're not making any progress.
not at all. You're
Same
hindering
on
yourself.
the other side. If you're gaining way too much body fat, you're not insulin sensitive, you're not going to have a successful off season either.
Mm-mm.
But trying to keep shreds is not the way to go when it
No,
comes to trying to
it's
improve.
it's
You're just
not the
going
way
to,
to go either way, but especially if you are someone who needs more muscle, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, trying to keep glute striations or quad striations.
but
It'll
you
look
already
cool,
don't have enough
pictures, but
glute.
you're not going to look better on stage.
You're not. Nope. What piece of advice can you give to someone prepping with their significant other? That's,
He just giggled.
that's y'all. That's y'all all day. Go for it.
um, I would just say, like,
A lot of
learn.
prayer.
No, I mean, it wasn't actually bad to me last year, just towards the end, but we'd done it all year long. Um, and that was like at the end of the third prep together, really.
Yeah.
Um, I would say just like learn your strengths and weaknesses and play off of those. So, like, and also learn your partner's cues. Like, I can tell when Martin's just kind of cranky and doesn't need to have me word vomiting at him,
Hmm.
and vice versa. Or like if they can't read it, just vocalize it and be like, "I'm cranky."
Yeah.
Like even post show, like reversing it doesn't. It's not like that goes away immediately. And the other day he was like, "I'm cranky today," and I was like, "Okay." So I just like found tasks to do to keep myself occupied because it's not like typically, especially when you've been doing this for a long time, it doesn't last all day long.
Right.
Or at least at some point in the day you can kind of get a grasp on it and hopefully turn yourself around. But if you're just like in the mud, just let them know. Like, and I just will remove myself. I think that's probably one of my strengths at this point compared to my past. Like, if I'm overwhelmed, I'll just like go silent or just like exit and go somewhere by myself. At the gym, have my big headphones on so that it's clear that I don't want to be talked to. Like whatever
Yeah.
you need to do. Um, and then like your strengths and weaknesses, like when Martin and I prep together, he would like do all of the food prepping and stuff because I didn't want to and I'm not that great at it. And then I would do the dishes because I like to be very like task oriented. She loves being held like a baby.
She's living her best.
She loves like that. And she's gonna be gigantic. You're getting kind of big.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious when she's her full size and she's like, "Pick me up."
Oh, he won't be able to do it. He'll be doing it by himself.
Martin will still make it happen. I believe in him. He'll still make it happen for her.
How'd you strain your bicep holding my dog like a baby?
No, seriously. You should have seen me last night, Lo and I were wrestling, trying to clip Rocket's nails. It was like trying to hold on to a freaking pig. He's 80 pounds, so he's strong. He just does not like getting his nails trimmed, but yeah, it was a fight.
I'd say to add to the couples thing is like you also have to remember that this is a privilege and that you're doing this by choice. So like don't make your significant other suffer because you're suffering. And then like she said, is like understanding each other. It's like for me the one thing that I don't do well with is like when I get ran down is like talking at me, which Alexis loves to do. So but she knows now in prep, like there's a certain point when I start answering one-word answers and stuff that it's like, okay, if I keep word vomiting at him, he might actually get grumpy. Whereas if I leave him, she knows, and that like obviously that takes time to find, but that's also why you have to vocalize, like be communicative and say like, honey, I love you, and I know that usually I can talk back at you for 2 hours, but like I don't have the energy to do that today. So like, please stop talking.
Because on the inside, I'm like, shut up, but I can't tell you to shut up.
Exactly.
It looks like rainbow and sunshines on Instagram sometimes, but like sometimes it's like,
right.
It's hard. It's so hard. That's something that I had to do. Obviously, Lo doesn't compete, but like I've just been in a lot of just mental moods and stuck in my head. And he's happy. He's like, "Hey, honey," and he's talking to me, and I'm like dying on the inside. So I've learned this prep to just be more vocal and stop keeping things on the inside because then I snap and then I'm the crazy woman. I look absolutely insane. So I'm just like, hey, I love that you love me and you are happy to see me, but right now, I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm sorry.
No, and I mean honestly, like doing this as a bodybuilder, it's no different if your significant other is a bodybuilder, isn't a bodybuilder. It's just that like they also have to put in more effort. Like that's probably the main difference is like she has to be well aware of her emotions and her actions and know that she can only fill the cup up maybe 20% today and has to vocalize that to me. Whereas maybe if my significant other doesn't bodybuild, she has a little bit more in her cup, whereas like she knows like a lot of days she's dragging me by my shoestrings instead of the other way around. But like it's still the same efforts that have to be put forth, especially as the bodybuilder. Like you have to control your emotions, even though like you're tired and it sucks. Like that's on you, not on them. So like understand those things. And then also one thing that I'll say I'll do is like, even when I do blow up or like am grumpy is like, make sure to apologize. Like go and let them know that like you were just having a moment and you were just grumpy or like you are just ran down because like sometimes they can't justify that in their head, like whether or not it was just prep or you're being an asshole. So like make sure to let them know like, hey, I'm sorry. Like there's times that I get snippy with her and I know I hurt her feelings and then like I'll go in 15 minutes later and be like, I'm really sorry. Like honestly, that's not what I meant by saying those words, but like you got me frustrated and then like it just came out on vocal in the way that I didn't want it to or whatever. Or just like, hey, I'm sorry that I like got snippy and used one word answers with you. Like I was overwhelmed. I was texting. Someone was texting me. Someone's trying to call. You're trying to talk to me.
Yes.
Like, my God, yes. With one direction. So like you just have to make sure to vocalize those things because like obviously she doesn't know how my brain is like overheating at the moment when it does those things. It's like, hold on, the wires are crossed and everything is going haywire here. So like there's sparks flying. Just a second.
Yeah, no, legit, you just preached a sermon. I've never had to apologize to Lo so much in my life. And I'm just like, I have to apologize because, and it's so funny. And as soon as I'm snappy, I immediately feel the conviction. I'm like, Amber, that wasn't cool.
Yeah,
You need to go apologize.
yeah. Well, it's mostly because also it's not like your character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
That's not
not
my
it's
character.
not normal of you to be snippy. So when it
Mm-mm.
happens, you are sorry because it's
Yeah,
not.
oh yeah, I feel horrible. I don't want to be mean,
Yeah.
especially to the person who makes all my food.
I was gonna say, like, also if you're prepping together, like what he said, we're like, maybe you only have 20%, so I need to try to carry the other 80 today.
Mhm.
Sometimes you both only got 20. So something's not gonna get done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So be okay
Especially
with
those days.
the laundry sitting there an extra day or whatever. And like you like there are highs and lows, so not every day is
hmm
as low as the next. Um, but like don't expect your partner to be 100% the entire time because you can't be 100% in everything. So if they're being 100% in their prep, something else is going to give towards the end.
I feel like y'all are inside my house. Because yes, like that was something I had to just let go of last month because Lo, he worked late at the bakery. I had a long day. I came home and the kitchen was just a mess. And I was like, you know what? I'll deal with it tomorrow. I can't do it right now. And there's no sense in fussing and cussing and doing all this stuff. Just girl, go to bed. Go to
Yeah,
bed.
I had a migraine at the beginning of last week that lasted like 3 days
Oh God.
to the point where like I was light sensitive, I was sound sensitive, I was trying to do the dishes in the freaking dark. I'm laying on the floor with frozen broccoli on my forehead. Like anything to get relief. But because of
Yeah.
it, I was like getting nothing done as far as just like house chores and stuff that
Mhm.
I would have preferred to be done. And I was getting behind on it. It was stressing me out so much. And like I couldn't do anything about it. But then once I finally got relief, I just like shifted my schedule because like I have to get this stuff done. So
Yeah.
like it took 3 days to get all the laundry done.
Whatever.
But like sometimes wrenches are thrown and you just gotta like pivot and keep going.
That's it. You just sometimes it just be like that, and you gotta adjust and do what you can. That's it. Do what you can. Let's see. Do you use any lotions for firming skin, keeping it healthy, or for cellulite? So, with cellulite, most of the time for a lot of people it's body fat, right? So as you come down, the cellulite will disappear. Like last year when I reached like the most I ever weighed in my life, 160 pounds, I could see like little dimples on my legs and I freaked out. I'm like, man, I've never had that before. I'm like, you've also never been this massive in your life either. But of course, as soon as the body fat started coming off, it went away. I will say, y'all know I'm insane when it comes to body care. Like everybody should be using lotions, everyone should be exfoliating, and not because of cellulite, but because like it's body building. You have to present your body, like your skin integrity matters, and you should just be doing that anyway. But I mean, I really don't like the way that a lot of products are marketed in the beauty realm because sometimes it can be very misleading saying, oh yeah, use this, it's going to tighten up your skin. Well, it's going to depend on how much loose skin you have because there is going to be a point where if the skin has just been stretched to the point where there's no elasticity anymore, no lotion, no cream, no goop, no nothing's going to do anything.
Yeah, if it's an elasticity issue, really the only thing that you can do to help it is keep a tighter body comp for a long
Mhm.
period of time and it will slowly tighten back up. However, if you're someone who's lost a significant amount of weight and have like loose skin to where it's hanging,
Yeah.
nothing's going to help that other than
Preparation age.
Martin says preparation age. But like if it's an abundant amount,
Yeah.
then you have to decide like are you okay with how it is
hmm
or do you want a scar from skin removal surgery? Like
Yeah.
there's not you can't get it perfect if there's an abundant amount of loose skin.
Yeah.
And some people listening might not like that answer, but that's
But it's
the
on it's the truth. Like I'm so
vitamin
over
C can
people.
help also.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Like vitamin E oil?
Vitamin E oil, yeah. Yeah, it can help. Vitamin E oil can help with scarring. It can help with, it's not going to make stretch marks go away, but it can help blur them. I think the thing is, and a lot of y'all ain't gonna like this either, a lot of y'all got unrealistic expectations. That's just simply what it is. Like, you are asking for something that is just so unrealistic. And I get it. You get on social media, you see all the things. I'm like, well, there's lighting, there's angles, there's Facetune, there's Photoshop. And the fact of the matter is, for a lot of women, especially once we start talking about women who have maybe had significant weight loss, or maybe if you had a baby, like, these are normal things that happen to our bodies. But with that being said, you just have to be mindful to have realistic expectations. Now, I'm always going to tell you, yes, use lotions to hydrate your skin, all the things, but you just I just think people have unrealistic expectations. They're expecting a goop to just fix it all, and that's just not how it goes.
Yeah, and I think that goes for just bodybuilding in general too. That's why it's important for it to be your own journey. And
Mm-hmm.
like being competitive is important, but 99% of y'all listening are not going to win an Olympia.
100%.
And most people that's like, I want to win an Olympia, it's like everyone's not going to.
No.
So while you should be a dreamer and like have high expectations of yourself, you also should be realistic in what your genetics will allow.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this discussion with someone earlier on Instagram. I think people seriously downplay all of the tiny variables that are important once you get to the highest level. I think the majority of competitors have the ability to win a pro card if they're willing to give it enough dedication,
Mm-hmm.
enough time in the game, enough shows. Uh,
Legit.
but from there, it gets way harder than what most people anticipate.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen. Let's see. What sacrifices, life, work, etc., do people underestimate in prep? I think it's probably, I see this a lot from athletes, especially newer athletes, when they're prepping. Maybe they're starting their prep into the spring and they're going through the summer, like, oh, well, I want to go on this vacation. Well, and it's like, okay, no one said you couldn't go, but you best be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah, I think people like, I think what's not taken into account really is you can do the things, but they're
Mm-hmm.
going to look different than they did when you were a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're going to Mexico in a week, and or whenever we find the dates. But I'm
Hey,
gonna be like, I mean, I'm already inside of 6 weeks out, so
yeah.
I won't be eating tacos or having margaritas.
Mm-mm.
But I got a new bikini, and I just need Coke Zero and Sun, and I'm gonna
We
come back
Gucci.
brown as brown.
There we
And
go.
don't talk to me about no tan lines. I'll have to worry about that later.
Ain't nobody worry about no tan lines. It better not. But y'all, is there a certain form of cardio that is better for wellness versus bikini? I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of what works best for you. At the end of the day, cardio is cardio. Get the heart rate up.
Yeah, I do think the only thing that I do take away from my girls is stairs for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, if they're
Hard.
wellness, um, because it's so you're already working your legs to death. You're work training your legs the majority of the times that you're in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and then stairs is just more impact on your legs. Um, so I think like any other form that gets your heart rate up is ideal. Um, bike, incline walking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some days for my own cardio, I've been walking outside because it's so freaking hot.
Yeah,
Just
don't
walking
do it.
the dog gets my heart rate into the range. So as long as you can get your heart rate up, it's ideal.
Yeah, I had to stop stairs because it was just banging me up. I was just so beat up and inflamed. I've been doing the elliptical, and that has been way, way better on me
Yeah,
because
I wish we had an elliptical. Martin was looking on Facebook Marketplace the other day,
I'm
uh,
looking to.
which would be nice because if we put it in the garage, and I'd really get my heart rate up.
Yep.
Um, but I'm not really gonna have a lax time period at this
Mm-mm,
point. Like
mm-mm.
I'll do Portugal, and then we plan to do a couple shows in the US, and then we'll be heading into the Olympia.
Yep. The difference in between flat and full in terms of muscle and posing. Okay, so this always cracks me up, right? So whenever I'm like looking at, I don't know, a show or and I'm seeing someone commenting on another person's physique, like, oh, they're flat. My first question is, how do you know they're flat if you haven't seen them enough? Because a lot of people will say that, and I'm like, that can only be true if you've seen their physique enough to know.
So I'm starting to be able to tell it more because you can usually, if it's a good video or live stream or photo, you can still see the skin texture
What do
and
you
this,
mean?
like, I guess it comes with the more that you're watching, and like I've just slowly learned it from watching shows with Martin.
Hmm.
You can see the skin texture, and even like if they're flat, the skin is still thin. There's just water underneath the skin.
Hmm.
Versus fat, the skin is not thin.
Okay. I think my thing why I get so hung up on it is because, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I need something else. I need to compare, like, to see, to compare, to determine if someone is flat or not. Because for me, I'm like, well, if I've only seen them once, then how can
Yeah,
I truly say,
definitely hard to tell if that's the only photo you've seen and they don't
yes,
have it posted like 3 days out or whatever to
yes,
see how lean they were. But I mean, flat versus full is there glycogen in your muscle or
right.
not? The skin, is the muscle pressing against the skin
Hmm.
or not? And then spilled is,
Yeah.
did you spill glycogen and holding water in between the muscle and the skin? So then the skin's not completely against the muscle. There's kind of like a
Word.
layer, and that's what makes it look soft because there's
Yeah.
water. Um, as far as posing, especially bikini and wellness, you ain't fixing nothing about flatness with your posing.
Just flat.
It's easy. If you're posing harder, you're just gonna go flatter.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're posing. Yeah. It just at that point it is what it is. You're a girl. Just do your best. That's it.
You're not peaked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Would you rather forget your headphones or forget your lifting straps?
Lifting straps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
To change the exercise, I'd rather do that than
Yeah.
like, just being distracted by all other sounds. That's why I like headphones. I don't
Hmm.
even really get into the music as much as it's like one consistent sound rather than like playing and banging and so is kissing his girlfriend over there and they're having a chatty
Yeah.
Kathy on instead of lifting weights. Like I just
Yeah.
put my headphones on. I don't know what else is going on. Like sometimes we'll leave the gym and Martin's like, "Did you see so and so, or did you see like what this happened?" And I'm like,
You missed
"No."
it. Yeah. I can do without both. I don't like these days. I haven't really been using my headphones because, like, who needs headphones when you got so much going on in here? It just.
Mine died day before yesterday, like mid workout, so I had
That's
to.
true. Yeah.
But it was also the gym was pretty empty, so there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Ah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I definitely prefer my headphones.
Yeah. How do you know it's time for a new coach? If your gut is telling you it's time for a new coach, then it's time for a new coach. I think a lot of the times you kind of know already.
Yeah, if you're considering it, that's probably one sign.
Hmm.
Um, if you're following all the things and not getting the results you want, that's another. If you are following it halfway,
Hmm.
then you need to follow the plan, unless it's something that you're not comfortable with following.
Right.
And then
Right.
again, if you're not comfortable with the plan, you need to discuss it with them and see if you guys can pivot together. And if you can't, you need someone else.
Hmm. Have I ruined my off-season gains by gaining 30 plus immediately post show? So I'm not really too worried about your off-season gains. I'm just more so worried about 30 plus immediately post show because your hormones are just going to be,
Yeah, and also, why did you gain that much? Like,
yeah.
if it was like an eating bender, figure that out first,
Hmm.
and get that in check. You you're not gonna have like the insulin sensitivity period. Like at this point, it's gone. Um,
Gone.
you're not having that like immediate rebound, but you can still make progress in the off season if you just get your body comp into a good state. And that doesn't mean diet back down. It just means
Let it
consistent
level out.
in your diet, and it will level back out.
Hmm. When do you know you're ready to end an off season? There's a couple of things. Always check the mental, emotional, and finances because those things are key. But then also, I think you need to be real with yourself and ask yourself, have I truly done what I needed to do this off season? Because I think some people assume, oh, off season needs to be 6 months, needs to be a year. Well, okay, if you had an off season for a year, but you didn't really do anything,
It wasn't an off season.
it was an off
It
season.
was off. It wasn't an improvement season.
Right.
Uh, and then, like, have you gained enough muscle? You should be able to compare your current photos to 2 months ago, and there should be difference. If there's
Mhm.
not, you probably haven't been doing the things, or you need to reassess what the program is. But I also think if you've been, I think some people overshoot the improvement season too. Like, if you've truly been on your game, following all the things, training hard, recovering well, and it's been 2 years, maybe pull the fat off and assess how your physique is.
Yeah.
Um, I certainly have seen athletes overgrow a category. I've seen athletes kind of just be following blindly and not really paying attention to what the physique is doing. And then you have imbalanced body parts.
Hmm.
So I do think that there's a benefit of it at some point pulling down. And I talked to a client about this recently because she doesn't want to get on stage until she's competitive. Um, but we'll probably be up on 2 years together before she actually gets on stage at this point.
Hmm.
So while yes, I want you to be competitive too, I want you to feel good about the physique that you're putting on stage. We also have no data from the judges at all
Yeah,
about
we
what
don't know
they
anything. Yeah.
so there is a benefit of getting that data and getting that feedback and then reassessing. Um, should you keep going and do a couple more shows, or should you go back into an improvement season and be in that insulin sensitive spot and kind of go into a fresh improvement season?
Right. Yep.
But if you're listening to this and you think that's you and you've been in improvement season for 3 months, no, ma'am, it's not.
It's not you. We love you, but no. How much weight gain is too much in off season while growing in wellness division?
There's not a number. If you have excess fat, if you have no glute lines and no ab lines and no delt lines, probably too much body fat.
You should still, and I just feel like this for all physique athletes, no matter what your division is, male or female, in off season, you should still look like an athlete.
Yeah,
No,
you should
you don't
still
need to
have
be
that
shredded,
glute
but
in your physique. Yeah.
yeah, you should still look like an athlete.
Have like tie-ins in the off season. I
Yeah.
didn't really until this off season. Um, Not everyone has delt lines, but they'll have glute lines. Not everyone has glute
Yeah.
lines, but they'll have quad lines. Like you should have something.
Hmm. People should be able to look at you and be like, wait, what do you do?
Round blob.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
some
not fun.
some people are round blobs. And nobody
What?
tells.
Alexis,
They are.
I know, friend. I know. Next
I
question.
was a blob at one point, and I didn't reverse correctly.
Yes. Listen, I was blob life last year. I get it happens.
Somebody told me, and I
Oh, I
had a
was
better
aware.
improvement after that.
I was very much aware. We were not okay. How to improve recovery without PEDs? When are they necessary? So everyone should be working to improve recovery regardless, PEDs or not. Like recovering, if you're not recovering, nothing is going to happen. You are literally just toiling in the wind, wasting your time. Get your body work, stretch, mobility. That's something that I've been focusing on a lot, just my mobility, especially as I progress in life. I know I just lost my train of thought. Body work, stretching, mobility. I was going to say something else. Go ahead, Alexis.
Sleep.
Sleep.
Your sleep needs to be maximized year round. Um, and I hate baths, but I'm doing them more.
Me too. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Martin's like, I love my baths. I'm like, I know you do.
Mm-mm.
Not me. I don't. I'm
Never
just sitting
loved
in
it.
my own hot soup.
Yeah, in my dirty hot. Well, it's not
Yeah.
a vibe. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Mm-mm. It's not
Yeah,
enjoyable to me, but you need to do it with
yeah,
excellence.
have to. And then when are pets necessary? This is probably going to be a little bit of like a polarizing opinion. So it's all going to depend on you, what your goal is what you want to do. They're not necessary. However, depending on your division and what your goal is, it might be something that you consider. I can't answer that for you, and I'm never going to get
Very
up here and say,
person specific. If anyone says you need XYZ for this division, they don't know what they're talking about.
no, yes,
Like
yeah,
if it's a blanket statement, everyone must do no.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Not the case. So if you're someone and you don't want to do that, you absolutely do not have to. Don't let anyone pressure you to make you feel like you have to do anything. Like I tell people all the time, like stand for something or fall for anything. It's like you have to draw your lines in the sand in the sport. Like I know what I will do and I know what I want to do. And I feel like everyone should have that mindset. How to know if you're overtraining? I feel like you'll know because you'll just feel like dog crap.
Yeah. Your recovery is what takes a hit usually. Sometimes your
Hmm.
sleep is impaired, different than normal. Um, for me, it's just like recovery is in the toilet.
Yeah.
And for me, that just means like an extra rest day. So, like every other week, because I train every other day, I'll end up needing two rest days in a row.
Mm-hmm. That makes
Only
sense.
training one real body part. So, like,
Yeah.
you don't need really nobody needs a deload every 4 weeks. That's
No.
silly. You're not training
No.
to
I'm
be
not
doing
doing
that.
that hard. No. I had to have a deload the week of Pittsburgh Pro, but I hadn't had a deload in months. Like I know in what 4 months, but it was when I had sent you my posing. I was like, I don't feel good, and you were like, you don't look good. I
Yeah.
felt beat up. My lower body was inflamed.
And some
Everything hurt.
need it like your recovery is impaired the deeper that you get into a
Yeah.
prep. Like I talked about at the beginning. So you do have to assess it a little bit differently. You have less food going in, your sleep starts to get a little wanky for a lot of people. But like especially in improvement season,
Yeah. Improvement season? Yeah, I'm pretty good during improvement season. I don't but the deeper you get into prep, yeah, I was like, I don't feel good. I do not feel good at all. And then we can go right to this. How do you go back to sleep when you wake up in the middle of the night, especially from hunger? Girl, you let me know when you figure that out.
sometimes I'll drink a bunch of water and that'll kind of fill my stomach. But usually I'll if I'm like laying there and cannot go back to sleep, I'll get up
Yeah.
and try again in like an hour or two.
Hmm.
For some reason, you'll like hit a second wind and just be awake, and then the prep starts setting back in, and you're tired again. So, what I've also learned in prep and like my shift workers will like relate to this. When you've been up for a really long time, like I'm talking 20 plus hours, my shift workers are very good at get through that window and you're on the other side and can go for 12 more hours.
Mm.
Don't do that in prep. So it's like the same thing will happen. You'll get through that tough period, hit a second wind, and then you can't go to sleep. So
Yeah.
for me, what I've had to learn is like being body aware. So like taking those sleepy cues, even if it's like 8:30, I'm like, I'm sleepy, I'm gonna catch this wind and go to bed now.
Hmm.
Otherwise it'll be 10 and we're trying to go to sleep and I'm like or
Yeah.
brain on body is tired and you don't want that either.
Yeah, that's tough. Ooh, because I've had that happen to me before where I've like pushed through, and then I'm like, crap. Now I'm
Yeah,
like, I know I need to go to sleep, and I absolutely can't go to sleep. Yeah,
yeah.
that's tough. That's tough. Like, so we've got three more. Bodybuilding being your sole identity versus being your livelihood, main source of income. This is something that I feel like isn't talked about a lot, and I have mentioned it before. There's levels to this. There's different athletes. There are some athletes where bodybuilding is their sole identity, meaning that is truly what they do for a living. That is what they do. And I think sometimes for bodybuilders who don't have that or aren't there, sometimes we you can kind of use those athletes as a benchmarker or oh well I should be doing this, or you get frustrated that you can't maybe do X Y and Z, and you can't, first of all, you can't compare. You can't compare. If that is your goal to make bodybuilding your full 100% full-time job, that's fine, but you just have to understand that you have to work your way up to it because it's not something that's just going to come to you immediately. And I feel like that's with anything. Like if you're starting a new business, whatever the case may be, I know I've talked to a lot of athletes where they get frustrated where it's like, "Oh, I can't make my own schedule. I can't do X, Y, and Z." And it's like, yes, I understand. I get it. However, these people have had to work to get to that level. You know what I mean? So it can be dicey and it can be frustrating, but at the same time, you need to understand the game. And I think more than anything, a lot of self awareness has to be put in place. First of all, you have to ask yourself, in order to be at that top level, do you even truly have what it takes?
And everyone doesn't.
And and that's tough.
Well,
That's
everyone
tough.
doesn't want to. Like,
And everyone does, and that's
I
okay.
want the like fame and glamour, but you don't want to do the work, then it's not for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Then, of course, don't make anything your identity, because if that thing gets pulled away from you one day, you're going to have a full blown identity crisis.
Like, you
I
need to be a
know.
well-rounded person.
I'm living through it right now. It's not fun, okay? And then let's see, what are y'all's tips, advice about a building phase? Go hard, train to failure. That's what I do.
Yeah, train as hard as you can, recover.
Mm-hmm.
Eat your
What
food.
tr- what trends have you seen in wellness winners this year? What are the judges favoring?
So I got this question on like my personal question box, and it seems like everyone thinks that they're following this new criteria. They're looking for this new look. And I don't think that's it at all. There's just a larger pool of more competitive com- girls that fit the criteria that's been on the NBC News website the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
better than previous winners. Um, I think they're. I think last year we already talked about this. They really tried sticking to it more directly, and this year they're just continuing that. And competitors are making improvements to match that more. So with people following those guidelines, instead of just making it a quad contest or a glute contest,
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming more consistent on the winners that are chosen. Like so far, the winners that I've been like seeing from shows, I can see why they won. It's not like I'm confused.
Me too.
Um, it might be surprising compared to what you anticipated because of past placings,
Mm-hmm.
but if you look at just the physique and just what was presented on that day, they make sense.
And then it also, to me, it makes sense and it makes me happy. It's like, y'all have to keep in mind, wellness has been around for 5 years now. The girls are catching up. There's
Yeah,
more great athletes. It's not just the same people you're used to seeing in the circuit. So while, yeah, you're used to seeing these certain people always winning, guess what? The gap is closing. There's more athletes. There are some athletes right now, they might haven't touched down on the scene yet, but they're better than some of the ones that you're used to seeing win. And
yeah.
that's just how things evolve.
Just like, yeah, and just with that evolution, there's going to be competitors that start not liking how winners are chosen. Maybe they don't like the physique that the judges want, so they start fading off or
Mm-hmm.
have other life priorities and just don't compete anymore. Um, There are going to be people who think they know better than the judges and don't make the changes that are necessary and start falling in placings. And then there are people who make the adjustments, keep up with how it's trending. And
Mhm.
I don't say trending in like it's a trend. I'm just
Right.
saying like how things are changing, what is being prioritized as far as the criteria, and continue to move up in placings. Um, and that's what bodybuilding is. Either you can continue to improve and based off of feedback and what your physique needs and how you need to fit the criteria, or you don't improve and you don't move up in placings.
Yeah. Something that I have noticed with wellness, and I really appreciate it, is y'all have to pay attention to the flow of the physique. That's big for wellness. I
Mhm.
think some people just get so hung up on, oh, the glutes, oh, the hams, oh, or the quads. I'm like, cool, but look at the whole flow. Because if you pay attention to the girls that are winning, they got good flow.
Yeah, just like every man competitor is not a classic physique competitor.
No.
You either have the structure for it or you don't have the structure. And I think wellness is very similar. Either you have the hip structure to
Hmm.
support the lower body shape that you need, or you don't have it.
Yeah, and I still stand by it. Wellness chooses you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't grow into it, but there are just some structural things, some flowy things that you just simply have to have because even if you're not big enough yet, if you have that structure and you can already see a flow, I'm like, man, once you get some tissue on her, she's going to be off to the races.
Hmm.
All right, well, that's all I got. I am obnoxiously hungry right now.
It's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Where am I going this week? Junior USA's. I will
Yes.
be there. Merlot will be there because he's driving me because I don't need to be driving right now. We will have post show treats for you guys. Um, Junior USA's, Junior Nats. The national circuit is kicking off. Like things are happening. Hit up Alexis for posing. She's in prep now. She's traveling all over the world. So get in where you fit in. Same thing with me. We're prepping. We're getting on stage. Uh, Shows are filling up. So that's that.
Schedule or be sad.
That period. Bye, y'all. We love you. Thanks for listening.